Good morning, students. This is our continuing video of chapter 2 Principles of Management, and today we study about scientific management developed by F.W. Taylor. So there is a small introduction of history of F.W. Taylor. F.W. Taylor was born in 1856 in USA, and in 1878 he joined Midwell Steel Company as a mechanical engineer. Like Fuel, Taylor also was a mechanical engineer. Using his engineering background, Taylor set out scientific studies and techniques. He was primarily concerned about the efficiency of workers and optimum utilization of resources. He is concerned with efficiency, improved efficiency of workers, how to improve efficiency of workers and how to utilize resources to the maximum. Taylor's principles and techniques were based on the observations he conducted in factories where methods of production lacked planning and working methods were haphazard. So, techniques and principles of management given by F.W. Taylor was based on scientific observations. That's why he is known as the father of scientific management. Now, what is scientific management? Scientific management can be defined as application of science for each and every element of management. Application of science means application of scientific experiments, decisions taken by scientific analysis and experimentation for each and every element of management. In general language, it means apply scientific tools, methods and trained personnel in order to increase the output or productivity. Scientific management insists on replacement of rule of thumb by science. Rule of thumb means when decisions and planning made by only top level management on their own wills and wishes. But Taylor said that decisions must be based on scientific studies conducted by using scientific tools. So he denied the rule of thumb. So some of the principles defined by F.W. Taylor. There are four main principles of given by Taylor, which are known as scientific principles. First is science, not rule of thumb. Science, not rule of thumb means the decisions or planning or decisions taken by management, top level management must not exist according to Taylor. He said, according to this principle, the work done should be based on scientific inquiry or analysis or research and not based merely on experience and trial or error method. Trial and error method means करके देखना, गलत हुआ फिर करके देखना. So that is trial and error method. So Taylor believed that there is only one best method to maximize the efficiency of work, and this can be developed only through scientific work study and analysis. Only by the use of scientific methods we can minimize the wastage of resources and maximize the efficiency of workers and thus get improved productivity. Rule of thumb means taking decision by managers or top level management on the basis of their wills and wishes. Whatever they think what is right or what is wrong, according to that only they take decisions. So this is not applicable in the management. Second is harmony, not discord. There should be harmony and mutual understanding among employees and management. According to this principle, there should be harmony and mutual understanding among employees and other working groups in an organization. Mainly there are two working groups in an organization. First is employees and second is management. If both became rival of each other, then always they feel negative thoughts about each other. But if management share their profits of the company with workers or employees, this will result in improved efficiency of workers, and they will start taking interest in their working. If management shares their profits, and if management takes initiatives or takes suggestions from employees, this can improve their confidence in management, and hence increase in efficiency and harmony among both the parties. Next is cooperation, not individualism. This principle is the extension of harmony, not discord. According to this principle, work must be carried on in cooperation with each other. If there is no cooperation among employees and management and other departments, if there is no mutual understanding and confidence, then the company or organization will not work and achieve their goals. To have cooperation, management should welcome good suggestions and suggestions from employees, and they should be rewarded for their good work and productive suggestions from time to time. If management give rewards to the employees for their initiatives in any new work, for doing any new work, or for solving some problem, or for giving some good suggestions, they should be rewarded time to time by the management. Then it will increase productivity also. On the other hand, workers also should not go on strikes and make unreasonable demands. Workers should also not go on strikes, and they should not make any unreasonable demands from the management. There must be open communication between management and workers. If there is open communication between management and workers, means if the employees are free to tell their problems to the management, then it will be fast improvement. It will help in fast improvement of or eradication of such problems. Then fourth is development of workers to their greatest efficiency and prosperity. Industrial efficiency depends upon the efficiency of workers. If the workers are efficient and more educated or qualified for the work done, then it will result in more productivity and maximum utilization of resources without or with minimum wastage of resources. Workers' efficiency depends upon proper training and their selection. Training of workers should be done from time to time to make them trained and to make them update their knowledge about new techniques and new market conditions. This will ensure greatest efficiency and prosperity for both company and workers. So here this chapter is completed. Make notes from the books only.